Fool, you pay to everyone but yourself. Dullard, you labor for others. A part of all you earn is yours to keep. It should not be less than a tenth, no matter how little you earn. It can be much more as you can afford. Pay yourself first. What is up, champions? Welcome to another episode of Champion Reads, where we talk about the best-selling books and their best principles to help you out with your best life. I'm William Blake, your host for today, and we also have John Kovacs Jr., the founder of Champion Circle, with us as well. And we have a very special thing for this month of December, which by the time this airs, it's going to maybe be in January, but that's okay because we're going to start the year off fantastic. For this month, we're revisiting some of the books that we have had before, because we've realized that some of the books do great and some of the books do, they do all right? And so we wanted to take the top 4 books to be able to go over them and see what we've applied. Some we've done a year and a half ago, and some we've done more recently, but we wanted to go over in a quick episode the different things that we've learned and applied to our life. And just like we did in the previous episode, kind of like a speed dating type thing. Very quick, very dynamic, how we've applied it and how you can apply it as well in your life. So today we're going to the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, which I think whenever it comes to finances, John, this is like the first book that ever pops up in anyone's mind. So yeah, very excited to jump into it. Top 3 points. John, I'll just send it off. What's your first point that you have?
Well, first of all, I love this format because this is one of the top 4 podcast topics that were enjoyed by viewers and by our listeners. So I love this. And we're going to be doing a special countdown. So this episode is on The Richest Man in Babylon. And you know what? I love this book because it's the kind of book you can read in one sitting. It's the kind of book that's such a classic that it's part of everyone's financial library. And because of it, it's some of the most, proven principles that have lasted the test of time. And the first principle I think is most important is the saving principle, which is pay yourself first. Now, I love this principle because number one, it is so important to have purpose for your money. And I think what this principle really taught me is that you have to have a name, a place, and a special dedication to each dollar, each penny that you earn. And most importantly, when you receive that money, you should do something with it, like pay yourself first. Too often, too many times, do people just take the money and they spend it, or they put it somewhere maybe for savings, or maybe they do something with it that's a little immediate and a little we'll call it reactive. Rather, there should be a plan and a purpose. I just finished a book on feng shui, and even in this feng shui book, they talked about having to put your money where it goes, and that means every dollar, every cent needs to be accounted for and put in special places. And right now, I'm saying you got to save. You got to save that money. You got to pay yourself first. If you're a business owner, how are you going to pay yourself? You can't just take the money from the business. That's a bad thing. You have to actually take the money and have it pay to you. And that's just a valuable principle as a business owner. And if you don't do these things, you might find yourself wondering, well, what am I doing and how do I save money? And you might be stuck finding a way to make ends meet. And that's what this principle, I think, truly just honors and teaches, and it gives you confidence in the process of achieving a financial goal or, achieving your dreams. So this is such a powerful tool.
You're right on the money. That was one of my top ones as well. I think it like this: you and your spouse, you're in a relationship with someone, girlfriend, fiance, I guess boyfriend, whoever, if you're male or female listening to this. But in a relationship, if you only give leftovers to your relationship, then your relationship's going to feel like it's leftovers. But if you put in the energy and put in a little bit of investment with it before all the rest of everything else goes on, then your relationship's going to grow and build. I know that as I've been married with a couple kids, I've been in both phases to where one, my energy would go to the kids, it'd go to work. And then when I'd come home after the kids are in bed, I go to my wife and it's like, I have no more energy for you, for me to give to you. And that happened for a little bit. And my wife's like, we need to change things up because I need you. We need to be strong together in order to build our family. And I said, yes, I agree with that. So through a bunch of working with it and everything, now I take part of the energy and save it for my wife. This is going on dates. This is spending special time with her. This is like maybe us waking up a little bit earlier in the morning while the kids are still asleep, just so we can spend time with each other. Right. So bringing that back to the principle, it's like keep the first dollar for yourself. Like if you aren't at your best, how do you expect to be able to be at your best in other things? So take care of yourself first. And it's not selfish. It's one of the most selfless things, because if you're taking care of yourself first, you can then give 100% to other people. So that's something I learned, John, is take the first dollar for yourself so that you can be able to spend it with everything else.
You ever been to like a coffee shop or like a pizza parlor, and when you're standing there in line and you're gonna order your food, and then you look at the wall and there's like a dollar bill on the wall, and it's usually a sign that that business has honored and cherished their first dollar made. That's what that means. And there's a purpose to that, right? And I am guilty of the same thing, Willie. I have not been paying myself regularly like I should have. My thought is, oh, I just invest back into my business and every dollar will be something. I can't let that nonchalant attitude and approach be my results. And instead, I am more empowered. I am more fulfilled, just like your relationship with your wife and your kids and your family, right? You have to have a purpose with every dollar. And so that's what's really, really cool about this principle. And I myself am not perfect at this, but this is such a great reminder. And when you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, you've got to remember this. And then after that, make sure you set aside for taxes. I know it sucks. Don't bring up the boring thing, John, but it's true. You have to do those things. And then what's left at the end of the day, you can do with what you need to do, such as, and maybe we should bring up our second topic, which is, I love this topic, control your expenses. This is the principle of budgeting. Oh man, I feel like I'm lecturing. I feel like I'm a dad just trying to tell the people like what they need to do with their finances. But listen, these things have proven the test of time. And controlling your expenses, by controlling your budgeting, you truly can win. And I've done everything from the Dave Ramsey method of snowball debt reduction to paying down credit cards to this year. Actually, both my wife and I, we paid off both of our cars. And that just came from an example of knowing where our money needs to go. So paying ourselves first and paying expenses, but then controlling our expenses, minimizing the excess and focusing on just dumping things into buckets that needed attention. And now we have extra payments that are no longer coming out that we can re-itemize and put them in the right direction. And that's just been an empowering principle. And I reflect back and say, wow, this is really cool. I didn't realize I had that much power with my money. And when you have control of that, you have control to do a lot of things, whether you make a regular salary or you're one of those people that's making over six figures. Okay. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you have control. And I'm learning that principle day in and day out.
And it goes with the taking advice from the right people. Like,
Yeah.
John, you are the right person to give this because you have been in the depths and experience with business, personal finances, everything with it. But there's sometimes where we're just like, where people come in with get rich quick schemes. It's like, I need finances. Not finance. I need income. I need this quick dollar to come in. And most of the time, it just doesn't work. And so when we're talking about controlling your expenses, it's not just on the side of budgeting, which is so important. It's also on the side of learn before you leap. Like, take in what they're actually saying, ask around about from people. Don't just take the gut, jump into it because it seems exciting, but simply think long term. Think how it's going to affect, and how that principle of controlling your expenses is going to affect your life and business and everything else that you're working on.
Yeah. I want the listeners to know, like, yeah, I'm a business owner, and yeah, I'm this person who's claimed to be the CEO and founder and chairman of Champion Circle. And I have a lot of, I've got a lot of history with business. And at the young age of 35, I have accomplished a lot. I have seen a lot in the world of business. But you know what? Listen in, because I've made every mistake in the book. Okay. I've fallen for those get rich quick schemes. I've had success massively overnight, and in a really, really fast surge of finances through multi-level marketing and affiliate marketing programs and systems. And yes, they work, but I do not recommend the fast, quick, overnight solution. In fact, I highly recommend the years of putting in dedication and learning patience and learning the hard lessons. Willie, just this year through our business, I've looped you in on so many personal and impersonal conversations that I just needed help. I needed a listening ear, and you've been such a great support to me, but all with the purpose of knowing that, like, hey, we're working through this together. And I am vulnerable enough and open enough to tell people, like, hey, I'm learning here, and I need to grow just as much as you do. So could you lend a helping hand, lean on my shoulder, and help me really to figure this out? And this has been such a great year. Like, yeah, I didn't make millions and millions and millions of dollars, but this year was definitely the best that has yet to come. And I'm looking forward to next year, because I'm truly going to find experiences, lessons, and opportunities because of these true principles that are going to give me a leg up in the years to come. So pay yourself first, control your expenses, and number 3, I think this is just really important for me, is make your money work for you. This is the investing principle. So first you got to save, then you got to budget, and then you got to do something with that money that's going to make it grow, right? So make your money work for you. This, I think, is what truly is the principle that made The Richest Man in Babylon such a powerful book that has proven the test of time, because this is something that once you do steps 1 and 2, this is what people are like, well, what do I do with my money? Where do I go with it? And where do I invest in it? Well, make your money work for you. Did you know that a very, very small percentage of the world's richest people don't live off of their income? They live off the income of interest that is produced from their income. So when they receive their money, they invest it, and they are truly just living off of the monthly dividends that the interest of their money and investments are producing. And that's like wealth beyond wealth. They're living off of fractions and percentages of the value of their money, not the money. It's not dollar for dollar with these people. It's literally the interest of their dollars. And that's a measurement of success. And so whether you are able to live off of, $1,000, $15,000, or $150,000 a year, you definitely need to understand, like, what is my goal? And make your money work for you is that principle of deciding, okay, how best do I need to invest my money so that I'm not living off of the income, but I'm living off of the interest? Is that cool? Like, it's so
Yeah.
mind-boggling, but yet so simple. I freaking love it.
Yeah. And it's a simple, like, visual graph of money comes in. And for most people, they pay their expenses and whatnot. And then at the end, they'll invest what they have. But instead, the people who are living off the interest get their money, put it into assets that that give back investment and dividends and stuff, and then live off of that. And it's very, like, when you get into it, from budgeting to planning it out to seeing how much you get, it's amazing because they know that no matter what happens, their money is going to continually come in, which is the coolest thing. They've turned their dollars into employees. Most people haven't done that yet. And I've realized, like, the moment I started seeing money as something that could work for me instead of just being spent, everything changed.
Oh
Absolutely
man.
everything changed.
That's amazing. And I'll just wrap up by saying this has been a great book to review because after a year of reading great books, great context, and literally just like absorbing great information, this is a great reminder for anyone that wants to truly save, that wants to win at life. This is why The Richest Man in Babylon is one of the greatest financial books of all time, and why people will continue to recommend it. So take these principles, as simple yet rudimentary as they might be, and live these principles, and you'll find so much value and growth in your life. And we're seeing it here at Champion Circle. I'm seeing it in my personal life through the experiences that Willie shared. We're seeing it left and right. So I highly recommend you listen to this. And by the way, this is fun. Like, I like these little rapid fire sessions. These are really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, I enjoy them as well. Let's do more, right? Second to John, it's through that's what this whole thing is about. It's taking the best principles that people have had. And we usually go with bestsellers because there's a reason why they're bestsellers. It's because they're so applicable. We take those best principles and apply it to our lives. And when we do, we get better outcomes. And that's what Champion Reads is about. That's what we do. And I'm so glad that we did book number 4 in the list of 1 to 4, book 4, Richest Man in Babylon, to highlight with you. So you listeners, stay tuned for the other 3 in future episodes. But that wraps up this episode. If you found inspiration in it, go ahead and subscribe to our podcast. You can find us on all the major podcasting platforms, as well as you can go to our website, mychampioncircle.com. There you'll find the link to our podcast, link to our social medias, and everything else going in the Champion Circle universe. Until next time, champions, continue to be awesome, continue to be the champions in your lives, and always remember that it's the simple steps that helps you be the richest man in Babylon. We'll see you on the next episode of Champion Reads.